Okay, yeah, we should be good now. So, today's character is going to be Ike. So, let's go ahead and get started, I guess. So, with Ike, you have a decent run speed. Like, you're not the fastest or slowest character in the game, so that's good, but you still move rather slow. A little bit below average. But that's just because Ike is a very strong character. So, kind of to balance him out. Like, you don't want to have an insanely powerful character with massive amounts of knockback and damage output that's insanely fast, or else you get something that's really unbalanced. But yeah, he's pretty fast for how much power he has, but definitely on the slower side. His jump height is also not the greatest, but I mean it's decent. Like, his up special definitely boosts it, but it barely gets him to the top blast zone, as you can see. Or not the top blast zone, but just like in the radar. So, like, you can recover from decent distances. You can also use your side special as a recovery tool, but yeah, like your up special does cover a pretty far distance. And then I guess if you want an example of side special, there you go. But it does put you into free fall just like up special, so if you miss, then you die, like that. So yeah, I guess we can go ahead and get started after I go ahead and do all of this stuff. Okay. For dash stack, I mean, it's not that great, honestly. It has a decent amount of range and damage output, but, I mean, it's not that long, lasting. So if you miss it, you're still gonna get punished, but, I mean, there are some scenarios where you might be able to not be punished. But yeah, it seems to have a pretty consistent hitbox, like, even if you hit the lingering hits. Like, I'm just hitting, like, the tip. Although there I managed to not hit, pretty good, sweet spot, so I guess it does have a sour spot, but yeah, it's got a very long amount of range, so that's kind of the good thing about it, is the range, but, I mean, it's just a little bit too slow to be that useful. When you've got so many other moves, like you can do dash grab instead out of the dash to get a combo started, or something along those lines, whereas with this, I mean, it just doesn't really have any use, like, it's just kind of a move that exists. You can't really follow it up with anything because it's got too much inline. So, yeah. For jab, I mean, it doesn't really do that much damage, but I mean, you could do jab blocks with it, even though Ike's not exactly a character that you're gonna do like a massive amount of jab blocks with or anything. But he can still do jab blocks, so that's a good thing about jab. And you can get something out of them. I messed up there, but you can still get rewarded for doing jab blocks, but jab itself is kind of just there, if somebody's, like, right on you. It doesn't really have that much range on the first hit, although the last hit, you obviously use the sword, so you have much more range. But yeah, forward tilt is just pretty much better in every single way for getting people off of you, except has a little bit less knockback, it looks like, at lower percents. And it also doesn't cause knockdown at lower percents, but yeah. I mean, you can still follow it up pretty easily with, like, a dash grab, or something along those lines if your opponent shields because they think you're gonna dash shack. Or if they like spot dodge and you can bait that out and all of that kind of stuff. But, yeah, for smash attack, I mean, I guess we can just go over tilts now, because, and that, so, down tilt's gonna be one of your better combo starters. I wouldn't say it's your main one, though. You can do a lot of stuff out of down tilt. It has a lot of range as well, so it's really good for spacing. You can land fairs out of down tilt, you can land up air out of down tilt, you can land neutral air. The up air is a little bit hard to hit, especially at lower percents. Yeah, you can use it to get grabs into up air, but missed there. Something like that. Although, yeah, something along those lines, except you actually hit the up air, because I'm not doing the greatest job of doing that. But yeah, down tilt, still useful for hitting up air, but I just can't do it at 0, I guess. Bit higher percent, like around 30, it should work. Okay. There we go. So, yeah, we'll connect into up air at mid percents, or that's not even really mid percents, kind of low percents, but yeah, you can land forward air, you can land neutral air, and then if you land neutral air, you can obviously get follow-up, because neutral air is going to be a really good combo starter for Ike. But yeah, forward air is just there for kills out of that. So Ike being a very combo-heavy character for his size, so down tilt's just good at starting that, and it's also good for spacing, so it's probably your most useful tilt, but I mean, your other tilts are still really good moves, like forward tilt, for example. It's got a massive amount of range. It's got a little bit more than down tilt. You can see there, but I mean, it's just good for hitting people that are far away from you, or like directly in front of you, but most of the time you want to go for down tilt anyway. The forward tilt could be used for better spacing than down tilt, as with down tilt, you have to get a little bit closer to your opponent, so they could potentially grab you out of shield, but with forward tilt, it doesn't really happen. You can also angle forward tilt, although I'm not doing the best job at that. There we go. So yeah, that was up angle, and then you can also do down angle, but there we go. So that was down angled forward tilt, and then potentially got a follow up off of that, but down tilt, just a little bit better, although forward tilt's good for further away opponents. And then up tilt, it's okay. Like, it's really fast, and it starts juggles, so that's really good, actually, but I mean, it's one of your weaker tilts. Like, a lot of people use it just to start juggles, and it also hits people that are on the ground, so that's pretty good. And then you can do stuff like nair, up tilt, up air at higher percents, but yeah, at lower percents you could do something like something along those lines to maybe get a combo started, although they're a little bit too slow to be true there. But yeah, at mid percents you can do something like up tilt, up air, and then get a spike. So yeah, but spikes aren't really a good thing to go for Ike. But yeah, down tilt combo starter, up tilt starts juggles, and then forward tilt is probably your main spacing tilt, but you can also use down tilt to space. And then up tilt is also really good if you get someone on the ground, because then you can start juggles out of a tech chase, or you can do something like up throw, and then actually land in there. But yeah, you kind of get the idea there. For smash attacks, Ganondorf has the exact same smash attacks as Ike, except for down smash, so they're gonna appear very similar, and that's because they're based off of Ike's smash attacks. Actually, Ike had them first, because Ganondorf used to have Captain Falcon's smash attacks until this game, so, or at least very similar ones to Captain Falcon's. So yeah, for forward smash, it's very similar to Doria, though less damage output. I believe they have the same amount of range, and I believe Ganondorf's is a little bit slower than Ike's, but Ike's still got startup, so you can't really combo into it or anything. Like, you can land it pretty easily, just like you can with Ganondorf, and people should be afraid of it, but it's just like a pretty strong smash attack. It is going to kill if you do land it, but there's a lot of good kill setups that Ike has out of his other moves. But forward smash, not a bad move. Like, you can kind of do nair into forward smash, although it's not really true. You just have to see how your opponent reacts to the nair. And then forward smash is also really good for reads because it has startup, so you would forward smash that way, your opponent might roll behind you, and then you can punish that with the forward smash. You can use the delay of the forward smash to wait out their invincibility, although they can still shield, so that's kind of the problem with that. It's just kind of a little bit too slow for how much damage it does, but it's still not a bad smash attack. Like, if you space it out properly, then you can't be punished by, like, a grab if you hit your opponent, but if they shield it, then obviously you can still be punished. But yeah, it's got some decent range on it, so, and it's got a pretty consistent hitbox, like, none of that sour spotted. So even if you hit all the way out here with the move like that, you'll still be able to do the same amount of damage. And then up smash, it can hit on the ground, but it's pretty good if you do it out of a juggle. It does have a bit of startup, just like your forward smash, although it's a little bit faster. You can also do it out of shield as a pretty good option, but yeah, it's still really slow. Like, all of Ike's smash attacks are really slow, except for down smash, and down smash does the least amount of damage. Yeah, up smash is probably your best smash attack, I would say, in terms of just, like, overall usage, because it covers a lot of space around you, just like Ganondorf's, so obviously you can cover in front of you and behind you with the move, so, and it does a decent amount of damage, and it can kill really quickly. Like, your forward smash kills a little bit faster, because you're not killing off the top, but if you hit somebody with an up smash, most of the time they're gonna die, so, yeah. And then, you can't really set up into up smash, but you can maybe do something along the lines of this to try and trap people in, and so if they air dodge, and you can maybe get a punish out of it, but, it's kind of just good for punishing landing. And then, down smash, just good at rule reads. Hits a little bit underneath the ledge, so you can use it to 2-frame, but, I mean, it's faster than your other smash attacks, but it's still kind of slow. Like, you can hit people off stage with it, because it's got a decent amount of range. It's just got, like, the same range as down tilt, except it hits on both sides, pretty much. It's the only difference, so... Yeah, and it's a little bit stronger as well. It just doesn't really do much, like, you can hit people on the ground with the move, but it kills pretty late compared to forward smash, so it's not going to be kill smash or anything. And even if you hit, like, the back hit, it's still not that strong. But it can be used for spacing, I guess, but it's not a safe move to throw out if your opponent shields it. Whereas something like down tilt or forward tilt would be a little bit safer. Although they're still not the safest options, obviously, because they're a little slow. And then, in terms of aerials, this is probably Ike's better moves are going to be his aerials. He has a lot of good ones. A lot of them start combos and kill. So, I guess we can start with arguably the worst one being down air. It does spike. I hit a spike with it earlier, but I'm probably not going to be able to now. And then if you hit Sour Spot, it does a decent amount of damage, so... Yeah, there we go. And you can kind of set up for it with down tilt, but obviously that's not a true combo, so your opponent can just, like, air dodge out of it. Or, you know, just DI out of the way. So, I mean, you can maybe do something like Nair into a down smash, but I don't really see that one happening either. And then if you throw it out at the wrong spot, then you probably won't recover like I did there. But yeah, I mean, it's okay for landing on people, because it actually has a decent amount of range, so you can use it to hit someone's shield and cross them up, but from like a pretty far away distance, like you can just hit them on the head with the shield, and then they can try and get like an up B out of shield, but you might just be able to jump out of the way, because it has such range, like it has a massive amount of range, so you can actually just get behind people like that. And you're all the way over here, so they can't really shield grab you unless they've got a tether. They can't really hit you with an up B out of shield. So it's pretty decent at crossing up, but there are a lot of better aerials that you can throw out. So yeah, and one of them is going to be back air. Still not as great as some of the others. Like, it's much better for spacing because it's insanely fast. It's much better than forward air. I mean, it has decent kill potential. Like, you have to be facing away from your opponent to be able to hit it, and it will turn you around unless you land with it, so. And then you can get falling back air into rising back air like I did earlier, but that's only works at lower percents, like there it goes. And then you can also do it out of, like a down tilt or an air, but that's a little bit harder to do because your opponent has to be at a bit higher of a percent, so. But yeah, that would have been an example there had I actually done the right move. But yeah, back air, it's really good for edge guarding as well. It's got a massive amount of range. Like, it has a bit more range than forward tilt. Or no, sorry, forward air, actually. I said all the wrong ones. But, yeah. The good thing about it, though, is that it spaces really well. Like, if you space it properly, like, do something like that, then you'll kind of stay in the same spot and just use your sword. So... And you'll be in the air, so you can kind of make it where people can't really do much to approach if you just space with back air. But yeah, fair is also pretty decent at spacing, but you have a bit more landing lag, and it's a bit laggier of a move, like it's just a bit slower in the air. Can't really true combo into it that much, but I did get one out of down tilt there, but... Like, it's just a little bit easier to hit than, back air, so that's why I would say it's like slightly better, because you can turn around and like face your opponent, so that way you can hit the forward air. You don't have to like do a raw back air or anything, but if you can do back air, then I would recommend to do back air more than forward air. And forward air has a bit more range vertically than back air, so that's another advantage, but it's a lot slower in comparison. And then you have probably the most famous one, which is Nair for Ike. It starts combos at almost 80% because it just has a small amount of knockback. You can do like nair into up air. You can do down tilt into nair into an up air, and just like juggle people. You can get kills off of that kind of stuff as well. It just is a very solid move. Like if you hit people in front of you, then you can do nair into forward air, or nair into up air sometimes. But like that would have been a nair into up air, but Falcon didn't die, or he wasn't at a high enough percent. Not that he didn't die. And then I also could have done nair into fair, but fair is going to have a bit more lag. So. But yeah, it's just a really solid move. It completely like surrounds Ike except above his head, pretty much, is the only spot. Like it makes a V shape almost. It's not like a true circle. But yeah, it's really good for landing because it has a lot of range in front of Ike and behind Ike. So also, if your opponent's hit by the move at all, then you can just get a combo out of it. Like you can do nair into back air, for example, and start up edge guards. You can do nair into up air for kills because you can kill off the top very easily with Ike. Because his up air has a massive amount of knockback at higher percents, obviously, but it's just because Ike's a very strong character. And then up air, I guess we can go ahead and cover that while we're talking about up air. Mainly used for juggling and kills. So, but yeah, you can just create juggles out of up air very easily. It has a massive amount of range above Ike. You can do falling up air into rising up air. You can do nair into up air if you land in front of Ike, and then sometimes behind Ike, but nair into up air behind Ike is a little bit more difficult because you have to like turn around in up air. And that was like nair to back air there, so didn't turn around fast enough. But yeah, you kind of get the idea. But you can also do it into the back hit of up air, but that's not true. So, and then yeah, like you'd have to do something along those lines that I did there. But yeah, up air is a move itself. Like you can do falling up air into rising up air at lower percents if you can land up air. It hits a little bit too high above Ike to be able to land consistently with it. Like, you kind of have to start it very close to the ground, but not too close to where it cancels the animation, because it does have a bit of startup. But yeah, you can also do like falling into nair and then get a combo going off of nair. Yeah, I should have upbeat in the opposite direction. But yeah, you can just get a lot of stuff out of up air and nair. Those are going to be like your main combo tools. But falling up air, like, I'm not used to hitting it, so that's why I'm not the best at it. But once you practice it a lot, then you can probably get a little bit more used to it. But as you can see, I keep hitting like right above Falcon's head. But there is a pretty specific timing that if you get it just right, like right there, then you can get a lot of damage out of the single up air. And same thing with nair. It's pretty much like the same thing as nair, except the combos that you can do out of it are a little bit harder to hit because nair has a lot more range than up air, but both have a lot of range because you use the sword, and that's kind of Ike's main advantage over most characters, is that he has this giant sword, but his main disadvantages are his recovery and his speed. And then also his approach is kind of bad, but I'll kind of get into that whenever I go over neutral. But yeah, for smash attack, I mean not smash attacks, but special attacks. So you've got neutral special, which just like summons a bunch of columns if you charge it up all the way. It does damage Ike if he fully charges it, but if he doesn't, then you do get a massive amount of damage out of it if you hit it, but it does have a lot of startup. Like even if you just tap B, it has more startup than forward smash, I believe, but it's not as strong as forward smash. So it might have a little bit less, but yeah, it's got a lot of in lag on it, so that's not that great for it. And then you can use it to edgeguard people, because you can just like charge neutral B, but it's not that great of an edgeguard. Like you kind of have to use it to ledge trap people more than edgeguard, because if you do it facing this way, then you can hit people and cover their rolls, and then you can also hit slightly behind you, so if people do a neutral get up, then you can just hit behind you. Like that. You can also kind of control people jumping above you at the ledge, but if people, like, if you were to do this, and then hit Ike with an up air, or if you were to do aggressive get up like that, then you just completely negate it sledge trapping, so it's not that useful. You can also do it to catch people's landings, but I mean, it's still not that useful for that either. It's just a little bit too slow and like too situational to be that useful of a move. You can't really set up for it or anything like that. You just kind of have to hope that people fall into it pretty much. And then you've got down special, which is just a counter. Like, it makes Ike's head invincible, I guess. I don't really know why it does that, but I didn't even know it does that, but yeah, Ike's head is invincible during the move. So that's just a thing, I guess. Then you've got Slide Special, which is going to be one of your main recovery tools. If Ike is hit by a Windbox out of the move, then he will be stuck in free fall. So like if I were to do something like this, as you can see, I'm stuck in free fall. But if I hit my opponent off stage and or like if I hit my opponent with a move, or with the move, sorry, not a move, then I will not be in free fall after the move is done. So yeah, it's pretty useful because you get a lot more like horizontal distance with Slide Special when compared to Up Special, but you still get a lot of horizontal distance with Up Special compared to someone like Chrome's Up Special, because they're very similar. But yeah, you can also use it on stage to approach, but it does have a lot of in-lag, so it's not that safe on shield, and it's not really that safe on hit at lower percents, because somebody can kind of just, like, you can tech that and then punish with, like, a dash grab. But, I mean, it's still safe on hit, like, it's not gonna completely, like, destroy you if you accidentally throw out Slide Special like it would if you accidentally threw out Neutral Special, but if somebody's shielding and you just Slide Special them, or if they're countering, then it's not going to end well for Ike, pretty much. But it does have a decent amount of range in front of Ike, and on the stage, like, you can go from pretty much, like, one side of the stage to the other if you fully charge it. And then Captain Falcon kind of got in front of me there, but he's going to get in front of me again. So it's just going to keep canceling the move, but you can actually go from pretty far, like, let me see now. Yeah, you end up, like, about here. Like, Falcon kind of stopped my momentum, but I didn't hit him, so this is about the full range of the move. So you can go from pretty much one side of stage to the other if you fully charge it, but even, like, partially charging it gets you to center stage, so it's still not that bad of a move for moving around with Ike, but if you just throw it out a lot, then people can punish you for it. And then, if you try to Slide Special on stage, there's a like thing Mario can do is that he can just flood Ike's Slide Special. So like if you Slide Special and you're going towards center stage, Mario can flood in this direction, like over here, and it will push Ike all the way off stage. So yeah, and then also Mario can just flood in this direction and cape, so it does leave you vulnerable for any type of Windbox, which isn't that great, but it's not that bad of a recovery move. It's just not that safe of one either. And then Up Special, you can do it out of shield for a decent amount of damage. Like, it's a pretty strong move, but it does leave you open for a while, especially if you miss it. You do get super armor during the move, but I mean, like, not really super armor, but it's kind of hard to hit Ike out of the move, so that's kind of the good thing about it. And then if you hit somebody with the sword at the beginning, then they get caught in the move. And it's pretty hard to actually escape it, but yeah, you can also use it off stage to be able to recover. Like, if you recover high, then you hit people with the sword as you're coming down. And then if you recover low, it's a little bit harder to hit Ike, but you run the risk of that happening, recovering a little bit too low. Because it does have decent vertical distance, like, it goes pretty far, but if you just slightly miss it, then, you will not be recovering backstage. Because it doesn't enter you in free fall or anything, it just makes it where you go instantly down. It's kind of like, doing a down air that has a massive, or like, Zero Suit Samus's down air, for example, is very similar to. You can also kill people at the ledge if they're off stage, and, you Up Special them, and then sometimes at the ledge you can hit Up Special and drag them off stage and grab the ledge, but they don't grab the ledge because you grab the ledge and then they kind of just die from the move. That's something that can happen, but it's pretty rare. Like, I had that happen earlier, but like, if they're hit by Up Special and they get dragged off stage with it, they won't be recovering backstage. But it does kill Ike first, so if you're stuck ahead of somebody, that's an option that you have. And then, problem with the move is that it had the bit of startup, where you can kind of just, like, push Ike with a Windbox, so that's not that great. And then you can also counter the move. You can actually down air Ike whenever he's spinning around like that. You can down air him pretty easily with certain characters like Captain Falcon or Ganondorf for a spike. So it's not a very safe recovery move. It's not as safe as Slide Special, but it's really good for recovering like underneath the stage. It's like Ike's only option underneath the stage other than like air dodging upwards or jumping, and his air dodges aren't that great. So Yeah, it's just like, it's the only option that you have pretty much if you're underneath the stage, so that's why it's not that great. And then side special is the only option that you have whenever you're pretty far from the stage. So, and you're not underneath it at the same time. But if you're like here in this area and you don't have your jump, then you pretty much die as Ike. So your recovery is not the worst in the game, but it's very predictable and it's like pretty bad in certain situations. Like if you're in the bottom corner of a blast zone or something along those lines. But yeah, and then in terms of throws, you've got down throw, which is going to be a combo starter. It kind of creates juggles pretty easily. You can't really chain grab with it, but I mean, like, if your opponent does nothing to stop this, then that is an option that you have, I guess. And then up throw also kind of creates juggles, although it has a bit more lag, so it's not that great at doing it. But like down throw up air is actually true, you can see there, but up throw up air is not true. So that's just what I was referring to earlier. And then back throw, it can kill, and forward throw can kill at higher percents for like a kill throw, but Ike's main kills are gonna come from his aerials and his edge guards, because his edge guards and aerials are pretty insane. So, yeah, I think it's time that we go ahead and cover neutral with Ike. So, yeah, at the beginning, you want to try and get a combo started, because Ike is actually pretty good at combos for his speed, as I kind of said earlier, because he has a decent amount of range. You want to try and space out your opponent as well, because you have range, so definitely abuse it. Like, Captain Falcon here, he just has his hands, whereas Ike has that giant sword. So, he can actually cover pretty long distances, and then probably should have followed up that nair, but yeah, Ike's also pretty heavy. Like, he's not a heavy character, I would say. He kind of just feels like one. Like, he's pretty heavy, though, so I guess he could be classified as one, so he dies pretty late, is basically what that means. And that also means that he gets comboed a little bit, because he's kind of slow. But if you are hit by like a smash attack that sends upwards, like Captain Falcon's up smash that he hit me with earlier, at like 80%, it sent me nowhere. And like at 100%, I would not worry about being killed by an up smash unless it was charged. Yep, gonna recover high here. But yeah, that's kind of something that's bad disadvantage. But as you can see, I tried to wait for Falcon to throw out a move or something and punish with back air. I just threw out back air so that way I could cover behind me, because it actually is really good at that. It's probably your most important aerial in neutral outside of neutral air, but I just don't really use neutral air that much, and I really should. But you can see, get a pretty decent edge guard out of that. Yes, he did just double up smash, so that way you can start an air, or an up air combo. Because that's all this Falcon tries to do, is just try and do juggles. Which, I mean, that's okay with Falcon, but it's pretty good at higher percents. But Ike's not even at a percent where like an up air juggle would lead to a kill. Well, he is now, but I mean, he wasn't whenever Falcon was spamming up smash. Yeah, I'm gonna do a dash attack there. Dash attack, I just use it to punish. Like, I probably should have used something different than dash attack. Yeah, do a back air and a forward tilt to try and get some pressure. Try and hit down tilt at the ledge, but a little bit too early, I think. Yeah, gonna try and space with nair. Try and force Falcon to approach. Yeah, covered back center stage. I figured he was on a Falcon kick, so I figured I would just throw out a counter to see if it would work. And Ike's counter is pretty strong. Like, it's not the strongest counter in the game or anything like that, but it's up there. Because Ike's just a very powerful character. So I'm a stock ahead currently. It's like, I'm on my second stock, Falcon's on his third stock, so pretty much have advantage. But now, I still have advantage, but it's just I can't really play unsafely like I was there. I was just kind of throwing out down tilts to try and poke him through his shield, but I was a little bit too close. But yeah, I would say Ike's is very important to space, and yeah, that was me taking the stock there. But Yeah, it's just because his recovery just left him open for that forward smash. But yeah, with Ike, spacing is very important. Like, it's probably more important than with almost any other character. Just because if you space with Ike, people will not be able to hit you. Like, if you space properly, like, on every one of your moves, people should not be able to get in. Just because Ike, he doesn't need to approach, he just needs to kind of retreat in space. Because people can't do much against his range. Like, if they try to challenge Ike's range, then they take either a massive amount of damage, or they get edge-guarded by Ike, or they die. But this Falcon doesn't really abuse Ike's weak points, which are his recovery and his speed. Like, he kind of just is shielding a lot. So I'm trying to throw out safe moves like that Nair there, and then start jabbing afterwards. Because if you do Nair into jab, that kind of covers a lot of options, except for like back roll. And then jumping out of shield or out being out of shield is not covered by Nair into jab. Yeah, that's dash attack. I meant to up tilt actually, but yeah, that actually killed. I was about to forward tilt there, but Falcon's dash attack is a bit faster. Yeah, I accidentally threw out forward smash there, so I am going to get punished with the parry and the back throw, but he could have done much worse. Like, that was an easy punish for me, at least. Double forward tilt. Tried to go for a down air, but it didn't really work. And then I did not properly B-reverse that up special, so I'm gonna die there. This time I will, though. There we go. And I also hit him on the ledge, so it's basically, like, whenever you try to challenge, Ike's up special, you have to be above Ike, because if you're, like, right next to Ike, then you can counter it, but outside of that, you most likely won't be able to punish it, and then if you're above it, you can hit Dare. Yeah, I figured Falcon was either going to knee or Dare, so I tried to get a counter there, but he dared a bit far away. Yeah, I'm dead, though. Like, if you're hit off stage at a decent enough percent and you're not hit towards the stage, and most likely you're going to die, especially if you don't have your jump. Because, like, I used my jump and then Falcon back-aired. So it's, like, very easy to reverse edgeguard Ike, which is basically whenever you try to edgeguard somebody, but they just end up, like, back-airing you or something along those lines. That's something that can happen to Ike very easily. But yeah, I'm gonna up you out of shield here, just for a mix-up. But yeah, I waited for him to do some sort of air dodge and punish with back air. But yeah, that's basically Ike. Like, you can play punish, like bait punish, but he's very good if you just try and space your opponent and then punish them trying to hit you. Because Ike's just got so much range. You don't really want to throw out your smash attacks too much. Like, as you can see, I've like forward smashed once, and then I forward smashed accidentally on Falcon's shield, so he parried. But outside of that, I haven't used an up smash or a down smash. I've just been trying to space with aerials and tilts. And then also recovering. But yeah, Ike's disadvantage rate honestly isn't as bad as you would think it would be. Like right there, I tried to down air Falcon when I probably should have naired. Because he just keeps spamming up smash at some points. But I'm going to continue to fall into them, so I don't really promote spamming, but if it works on me, then obviously I would keep doing it. Like, if I kept spamming up smash and I kept falling into it, then, or my opponent did, then I would keep doing it. But as soon as it stopped working, I would stop. That was a weird tech. I typed on the wall. But yeah, I tried to hit him with down tilt, but he moved forward with his down smash. So that was actually really good. But yeah, I'm gonna get some sort of a combo started here, potentially. Yeah, there we go. Keep doing down tilt to try and hit him, but yeah, I thought I teched that, but I think I teched a bit too early. Like, I think I hit the shield button while he was still up being me. Tried to edgeguard with neutral B, but there's not really a point. You're gonna up tilt there. Up tilt has a pretty decent amount of range in front of Ike. It also launches behind Ike, so It's pretty good for mixing up DI. Like, it doesn't launch in the direction Ike's facing, so he can land back air out of it pretty easily. It's pretty much like Luigi and Dr. Mario's up smash, kind of. So you can just use it to manipulate certain things. Like if a Pac-Man places down a fire hydrant and then you want to just hit it towards Pac-Man but he's behind you, can up tilt it. If it's at a low enough percent. I believe it takes like 13% to destroy a hydrant. So. Yeah. That's pretty much it for Ike. I kind of just been fighting Falcon in the background to kind of show how I play Ike. But play him very spaced out. I guess it's because I kind of play a lot of Lucina as a Lucina main, so I'm used to trying to space with characters a lot. But yeah, I just kept air dodging there to try and avoid up smashing. That's not what you should do there. I probably should have tried to counter it at least once. But I just don't like landing with counter with any character, because it just can be baited so easily. Like, if you counter once and you think it's safe, and then you try to counter again, and then your opponent just baits you out, and then they can hard punish you very easily for trying to counter. Yeah, I barely made it back to stage there. I did that really late. I thought I could up B for some reason, but then I realized that I wouldn't be able to, so I side B'd. Yeah, that was actually a really good thing from Falcon there. If he would have hit me with the sweet spot that spikes, I wouldn't have been too mad, because that would have been like a really good read. But it's not really that much of a read, because Ike literally has no other option. So, like, you can just tell when he's gonna do it, pretty much. Like, there's a point where Ike, if he doesn't do it, then he's going to die. So you can try and bait it out, but it's not really a bait. You're just, like, pretty much waiting for him to throw out the option. And then as soon as he does it, then you punish. So it's technically not a read, but it would classify as a read, in a way, I guess. Like, to me, a read would be like if you're all the way over here and you know that Falcon's probably going to approach with like a dash grab or a dash attack, and so then you punish it. Like, there, he tried to grab me, so I rolled. Because I figured he would try and grab out of shield. I thought he might Falcon kick there, but instead he went for forward smash, which is just as punishable. And for some reason, this Falcon likes to retreat on edge guard, so that's why I side specialed there. Yeah, I went pretty far out there for the spike, but I did make it back. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Ike. I'm just gonna do taunts now, so that way I can get the thumbnail. But, he is a really fun character if you play him. He was seen as one of the best characters in the game for a long time, like, almost top tier. But I'd still put him in high tier. He's a very solid character, but he does have a lot of weaknesses that are pretty easy for a lot of people to exploit. Like his recovery, his approach, his slow frame data, so that's all really bad for Ike. But outside of that, like, he's still a very solid character on stage whenever he gets started, like whenever he lands a nair and then just starts comboing you, something along the lines of that. That was more of a string than a combo, but yeah, I got 70% off of nair, up tilt, nair, up tilt, nair, up air, I believe this is what I did, and then I think I did like up tilt fair at the end, and managed to get a lot of percent off of it. So he's a very strong character if you use his aerials and tilts, but his smash attacks are pretty weak, so he doesn't really like kill power because his tilts and his aerials do have a decent amount of kill power, but if you were to land smash attacks, he would kill a lot earlier, but they're just a little bit too slow and risky. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Ike, so I would definitely recommend him to at least try if you're new to the game and looking for somebody to main, because he is a very fun character. But yeah, tomorrow's character is going to be Pokemon Trainer, and then we have post-patch Diddy Kong, post 3.1.0, so that's going to actually be fun, because usually, like, pre-patch Diddy Kong, like, whenever the game first came out, for example, he's not a fun character to play at all. Like, he was pretty terrible, but now he's decent, so, at least in my eyes. Like, Diddy Kong in Smash 4 was the top tier, but in this game, he went from, like, being a top tier to a mid tier. He probably got nerfed the hardest out of any character. Like, Bayonetta got nerfed pretty bad, Cloud got nerfed pretty bad, but I would say Diddy Kong got nerfed the worst because he didn't even have a recovery anymore, but they fixed that pretty recently, so that's a good change. But yeah, tomorrow's character is going to be Pokemon Trainer, so going to be 3 characters in one. But yeah, I am gonna end the stream for now. I should be live later though, so just gonna like take a break because I do have stuff to do. So yeah, I guess I hope to see everyone then.